Hi, everyone. We're here today with Anoki and Kara from our pharmacy services, and they are going to try and answer some questions that have been submitted from families and from staff. So our first question, and Anoki, I'll ask you this question: how does the vaccine work?
So when a virus like COVID-19 invades our bodies, they attack and multiply. So this invasion is the infection, and it's what's causing all of us and people around the world to be very ill. So um, when we look at that, the two vaccines that we're looking at, the Pfizer and the Moderna, they're working with a person's immune system to make antibodies. So it protects us from being infected by the virus. So the two current approved vaccines for the COVID-19 virus are the Pfizer and the Moderna, and they're using technology which is called the mRNA vaccines. And it teaches our cells how to make a protein that will trigger an immune response without using the live vaccine that causes COVID-19. So once it's triggered, our body then makes these antibodies, and that's what's helped us fighting the infection. So if the real virus does come into our body in the future, we're able to have a better first line of defense. So without getting into a real science discussion, we could be here for hours. When you say RNA, what does that mean? We're talking RNA standing for ribonucleic acid, and that's the molecule that provides our cells with instructions for making proteins. So these two currently approved vaccines contain that genetic instructions for making those so-called spike proteins that we've all seen on all the pictures of this coronavirus. And this protein is found on that surface of the virus, and that's what's been causing the COVID-19. So when a person is given a vaccine, their cells will read that genetic instructions, almost like a recipe, and it produces that spike protein. And after the protein piece is made, the cells will break down the instructions to get rid of them. So the cell then displays this protein piece on its surface, and our immune system will then start to recognize that protein, that it doesn't belong in us, and will start building an immune response and making antibodies.
Okay, all right. How is it produced so quickly?
Human coronaviruses have been identified for over 50 years, believe it or not. And those smart scientists and research have been studying them for years, going back to the MERS coronavirus, which was that Middle Eastern respiratory syndrome. There was the SARS virus, that initial one that everyone talked about. So there have been really big 5.1s across the world that have been striking people and affecting people. So this kind of this COVID-19, it kind of set the stage for the pandemic. So, and a sense of emerging patterns for this disease. So it wasn't the first time they saw it, and it's almost like they got a head start. And they have been researching this platform for years, and it turned out to be very useful in their fight on it. So it wasn't like they didn't know nothing. They built on previous lessons, and it resulted in fast benefits and developments of the vaccine. Also, vaccine development costs a lot of money. So a lot of these researchers have been putting their own time. They have to apply for grants. They get funding from various sources after various stages of vaccine development. With the coronavirus, you had governments, you had people just, hey, it's a global thing, pouring money into this to get those fast responses. As well, you had the licensing bodies. Normally, they go through the whole process and have to submit everything at the end. This was real-time evaluations, real-time data collecting, going to a lot of different public health agencies to kind of real-time evaluate the effectiveness of it. So it's quite remarkable and amazing to see globally, provincially, through our countries, how everybody came together to analyze all this data and get it out so quickly for everybody.
Oh, that's great. Thanks, Anoki. Kara, can I ask you the next question? Why should we trust the vaccine?
It's important to know that Health Canada has not skipped any safety steps with regards to the COVID-19 vaccines. They've still done a thorough review of the available data to determine that these vaccines are safe and effective for Canadians. Health Canada is still carefully monitoring the effectiveness and safety of the COVID-19 vaccines as more research becomes available. These studies are still ongoing, so Health Canada is still following those studies and making sure that Canadians are getting the best information. It's also important to know that side effects that are not listed as common side effects of the vaccines are being reported to Health Canada. So Health Canada is keeping track of these side effects and is committed to keeping Canadians informed and reporting any of those side effects so that we know what's going on.
What are the side effects in comparison to other vaccines?
So far, the most common side effects reported have been mild and tend to go away after a few days. So these are very similar to the flu shot side effects. So this is like soreness at the injection site, some tiredness, headache, maybe some muscle pain or joint pain, and sometimes a fever. Other symptoms that may happen are some swelling or redness in the arm area, nausea, enlarged lymph nodes, and just generally feeling unwell. These are sometimes just a normal reaction of your body building that immunity to the COVID-19 virus. But it's also important to know after you get the vaccine, you will be closely monitored following vaccination. If you do have an unlikely event that you do have a rare serious allergic reaction, there will be protocols in place for your safety.
Okay. I think you kind of answered this already, but will the COVID-19 vaccine kind of make you feel sick?
You may have some of those generally like feeling unwell after you get the vaccine, but like I said, that's just a normal response to your body building immunity. As for if the vaccine can give you COVID-19, the answer is no. The vaccines that have been approved by Health Canada do not have any live portion of COVID-19 in the vaccine. So there's no way that you can get COVID-19 from the vaccine.
When will protection begin from the vaccine? When am I, not at risk of getting COVID after I've been vaccinated?
The current data indicates the Pfizer vaccine has been shown to be 95% effective in preventing COVID-19 beginning 1 week after the second dose. So this means that people may not be fully protected against COVID-19 till at least 7 days after that second dose. So that's with the Pfizer. Then when you look at the Moderna, data coming from that indicated that that vaccine was, in current data, 94% effective in preventing COVID-19, but this was beginning 2 weeks after the second dose. So although they're using the same technology, their effectiveness is a little bit different. We get a lot of people asking, well, I'm just going to go and get the one dose. Data on that is still coming in. Lots of mixed researchers and scientists are investigating that, but current data indicates with the Pfizer vaccine, if you only get the first dose, it's been shown that it's only been about 52% effective after the first dose, and that protection only kicked in 12 days after the first dose. So it shows the importance, especially with the Pfizer vaccine, of making sure you go back for your booster dose and in order to give you the best protection. Conversely, the Moderna vaccine indicated that with the first dose in current data, it was 82% effective after the first dose. However, the data on that is still out there in terms of how long did that last. So in order, we need to make sure we're getting the second dose, because they found in their research that they were up to 94% effective after getting the second dose. So we want to make sure that everybody not just gets that first dose, but remember to set, your calendars to go back for that second dose.
What are the benefits of vaccine as part of the vaccine strategy?
So I guess the important take-home message that we have for all this is getting vaccinated is just one of the many steps we can all take to protect ourselves and other people from COVID-19. And stopping a pandemic like this requires so many tools. And this is one more tool that has become available to us. And then those other steps and fundamentals, as Dr. Roussin has said, the mask wearing, the physical distancing, washing our hands, all help reduce the risk of being exposed to the virus and spreading it to others.
I really want to thank both of you for sharing your knowledge and expertise with all of us. This is really, really going to help answer some of the lots of the questions that people have. So thanks again.